You think you know the truth about Chrissy and Jim Jones? Think again, because everything you thought you knew is going to be flipped upside down. What if I told you that the worst betrayal wasn't from Jim's adversaries, but from the woman he trusted the most? Chrissy. And it's not just a tiny secret. It's the type of bombshell that may collapse their entire world. Cameron's family has just delivered bombshell after bombshell, exposing a truth so twisted that it's hard to believe Chrissy's life is about to be revealed in a way no one saw coming, and Jim Jones is left standing alone, deceived and stunned. What do you do when the person you loved is hiding the deepest secrets you could never imagine? This isn't just gossip. It's about to be a full-on expose of everything you didn't know and couldn't. Stay tuned, because if you think you've heard the worst, trust me, you're not even close to the truth. It's worse than you think. What if I told you everything you thought you knew about Chrissy Lampkin a lie? What if the beautiful relationship you've seen on TV for over a decade was nothing more than a web of deception? What if Jim Jones, the man who has trusted her for so long, is suddenly the victim of a betrayal so profound it might destroy all he's created? Hold up, because this isn't just some rumor. It's a truth bomb that's about to burst on the streets of Harlem and beyond. And it's going to make you look at Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin in a whole new light. Let's break it down. Cameron, the man who helped create Jim's career, who's been there for him through the ups and downs, has just dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. And it's not just Jim Jones who's engaged in this. Chrissy Lampkin is at the heart of a controversy so enormous that it may entirely destroy Jim's career and reveal the horrible reality no one knew about. Cameron's family has recently revealed a terrible revelation that Jim was unaware of, about secrets so deep and dark that they may send the entire house of cards crumbling down. Think about it. Chrissy, the lady who's been at Jim's side for years, has been hiding a double life. And now that the truth is out, Jim is left to pick up the pieces. In the face of Jim Jones and all of us who follow their journey, this isn't just reality TV drama anymore. This is real-life betrayal at its finest. And how did we get here? Cameron, a man who's never been hesitant to speak his thoughts, has just torn back the curtain and exposed the truth about Chrissy's hidden existence for years. Chrissy has been living beneath a mask, presenting herself as Jim's rock, but the reality is far from that. Cameron's family has disclosed that Chrissy has been involved in shady activities, secret relationships, and even business maneuvers that damage Jim's confidence. You know what they say, you can only conceal the truth for so long, and now it's coming to light in the most dramatic way imaginable. Chrissy's life isn't just a reality show. It's a web of falsehoods so convoluted that it's impossible to ignore, and Jim is the man left in the wreckage. He's been blindsided by the betrayal of someone he thought he could trust above all else. But let's talk about how deep this goes. The secrets Chrissy is hiding aren't just about infidelity or cheating. No, we're talking about far more: corporate corruption, shady transactions, and behind-the-scenes maneuvers that were meticulously concealed from Jim for years. Cameron, being the person he is, has just spilled the tea on all of it. And now the world is watching as Jim's life is crumbling in real time. So let's speak about the first of many secrets, one that combines money, power, and treachery. For years, Jim trusted Chrissy not just with his emotions, but also with his company. They've had joint ventures and worked together on various enterprises and even developed an empire. But behind the scenes, Chrissy has been conducting her own underground dealings, using her position to control the situation in her benefit, according to insiders close to the matter. Several transactions that Jim had no idea about. These agreements have resulted to losses and disastrous investments that Jim is now being blamed for, all because Chrissy kept him in the dark. The worst part is that these deals have threatened to wreck Jim's whole empire, all while he stood by her, trusting her. Yeah, and let's not forget about the personal aspect of this disaster. Chrissy's affairs, her secret life that no one knew about, have been going on for years. We're talking about hidden relationships, secret vacations, and ties to individuals Jim wouldn't even conceive. Cameron's family had known about the situation for a while, but didn't say anything out of devotion to Jim. But now that the truth is out, they're leaving. Silent, the man who created Jim's career, has had enough, and now the world knows the truth about Chrissy's shady deals and treachery. But it's not only about money and affairs. This is about loyalty and trust. Two things Jim believed he had Chrissy, but now he's been left alone to pick up the pieces of a career on the point of collapse, alone to confront the fact that all he thought he knew about Chrissy was founded on falsehoods. So why is Cameron doing this? Why is he exposing Chrissy now after all? Cameron has finally seen enough of the games Chrissy has been playing, which have affected Jim more than anybody could have anticipated. Here's the problem: Cameron is sick of the lies, and he's not going to let Chrissy get away with it any longer. He's turned to the streets and social media. And now he's leaking all the information. Chrissy's secrets are out, and there's no turning back. And as for Jim, he's left holding the bag. Chrissy's been playing a hazardous game. But how far did this treachery go? Was it just business, or is there more to the story? Is Chrissy harboring even deeper truths that Jim never knew about? Stay tuned, because we're only getting started. The truth is about to ruin everything. The truth hurts, doesn't it? It always does. When everything you thought you knew, everything you believed was secure, breaks right before your eyes. And that's precisely what's happening right now to Jim Jones. Chrissy's profound betrayal. Lampkin, the woman he trusted and felt was his rock, is unraveling in the most public, humiliating way conceivable. But that's only the beginning of the real catastrophe. The effect from these discoveries is beyond anything anybody could have anticipated. Jim Jones, the hip-hop mogul, is going to lose everything: his job, reputation, and the whole empire he's spent years creating. And it's all because of one person, Chrissy. But here's the twist. Chrissy isn't just out for herself. Cameron's family has been discreetly revealing how far this treachery reaches. Beyond simply financial losses and covered affairs, Chrissy was part of a network, an entire underground plot, and it's only now that the world is starting to connect the dots. Let's break it down. Chrissy wasn't just pulling strings behind Jim's back. She was playing both sides. Cameron, Jim's closest comrade, had never truly trusted Chrissy for years. Cameron's doubts persisted, but Jim was oblivious to them, and let's face it, everyone else was. Jim was caught up in the fairy tale, in the thought that he and Chrissy were. Chrissy's falsehoods were more than just personal. The financial scams she was involved in are coming to light, and they are greater than anybody could have imagined. But Cameron's family has supplied shocking facts about shady business practices that not only wounded Jim, but also broke his confidence on a level that's nearly impossible to grasp. Chrissy was serving as the gatekeeper, keeping Jim out of the loop when it came to money-making decisions that should have been shared. And now Jim is suffering the repercussions of her concealed maneuvers. For those who don't know, Chrissy was the brains behind a few problematic investments that Jim had no knowledge were made in his name. It was businesses that siphoned off money or shady real estate dealings. Jim was left holding the bag when the obligations came due. Sources close to the case claim that Jim trusted Chrissy with everything, and she took advantage of it. What's more, Chrissy is supposed to be this faithful partner to Jim, right? But she's been playing both sides, doing agreements behind Jim's back with some of his biggest foes. Think about it. Chrissy has been involved in backdoor negotiations with those who have always had it out for Jim. Her actions, Jim's empire, is at jeopardy. This isn't just business. This is personal. And now Jim is left attempting to mend everything. But the damage has already been done, and the public backlash is only beginning as the story goes viral. Fans and other celebs are weighing in, and the replies: some are calling Chrissy a mastermind, while others are bluntly dubbing her a villain. But the most disturbing aspect is Jim's own circle is beginning to remove themselves from him, unsure of where his loyalties lay after this revelation. Discovery here's where it really starts to hurt. Jim has been faced with not just a personal betrayal, but now he's dealing with the public implications. Once the story started leaking, everyone started talking. And you know how this goes. Once the truth, there is no turning back. And now Jim is forced to confront his own public demise, all while attempting to figure out if Chrissy was behind the curtain pulling all the strings. Cameron, one of Jim's closest friends, says he feels personally guilty for not. According to sources, Cameron had warned Jim for years that something was wrong with Chrissy, But Jim was too blinded by his emotions to realize the lady he'd been with for so long could be involved in such a scam. But now Cameron can't keep back anymore. It's one thing to have a buddy caught up in a horrible situation, but when that scenario endangers all you fought for, you have no choice but to speak up. Jim is facing legal difficulties. Jim might face litigation or perhaps federal investigations into the dodgy activities Chrissy was involved in. If it's shown that she deceived him using his name and assets to make fraudulent investments, Jim could be detained, liable for some of those obligations. And with the way things are looking, Jim is facing the very real potential of a financial collapse. But the public fallout is just as brutal. Fans who used to look up to Jim and Chrissy are now questioning their loyalty. How could they be so blind? How could they have been deceived into believing this was a true love story when in reality it was just a game for Chrissy? The response has been rapid, and Jim's fan base is starting to turn against him. His reputation has been soiled. Now the public is asking the critical questions: who was Jim actually working with all these years? Cameron's family has gone so far as to disclose recordings capturing some of the most stunning disclosures regarding Chrissy's secret life. These leaked tapes are beyond anything anybody could have anticipated, with Chrissy on record admitting about manipulating Jim's image and attempting to damage his career by linking him with shady characters who were meant to harm him in the first place. They've just fanned the rising public indignation. Let's not even get into the social media firestorm that's raging right now. Everyone from hip-hop stars to social media influencers is chiming in with their thoughts on the issue. Shy Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin is trending for all the wrong reasons, and fans are losing their heads. One tweet reads, "Jim, you've been played, and we all saw it coming." Another adds, "Chrissy has been nothing but manipulative. Jim deserves better." But there's a darker side to all this. Folks are now asking just how much of Jim's career was founded on falsehoods. Was it truly all Chrissy's influence? Did she play a part in shaping Jim's success, or was she holding him back? The conjecture has been going on for a long time, and with each new leak, the reality grows more difficult. Legal action, financial instability, and public fury are only the beginning of this catastrophe. There's no knowing how far this may go. Jim Jones is now at a crossroads, facing not just a betrayal of his heart, but a full collapse of his business. Now that we've learned the magnitude of Chrissy Lampkin treachery, the question remains: what happens next as the tale progresses? Jim Jones is facing the terrible reality of losing not just his personal relationship, but also his business, his image, and maybe even his freedom. The entire scope of Chrissy's machinations is becoming obvious, and what once looked like a fairy tale romance has now turned into a nightmare that no one saw coming. The public repercussions is growing like wildfire, and the media circus around Jim and Chrissy is escalating by the day. The world is watching, and it's not just about Jim's career anymore, but about the shattering of trust, the breakdown of friendships, and the potential devastation of everything Jim's worked so hard to build. As the investigation continues, Cameron's family has taken it upon themselves to expose more and more of Chrissy's dark secrets, and what's coming out is truly mind-blowing. Secret papers and confidential tapes have surfaced, proving that Chrissy's role in Jim's financial crisis wasn't an accident, but rather a well-planned conspiracy that was devised to harm Jim's career and take control of his income. But what did Chrissy have to gain? According to individuals close to the case, Chrissy wasn't only in it for the money. She was playing a long game since she knew Jim's standing was increasing. As she wanted to make sure she had a stranglehold on his future, she planned various business initiatives and investments. Each one aimed to drain off a part of Jim's fortune while keeping him in the dark about the end game she wanted to be the one in control, not Jim. But here's the twist. As more of Chrissy's shady dealings come to light, it turns out she wasn't just plotting against Jim. She was also secretly working with people Jim had trusted who were using him for their own gain. One of the most surprising leaks to hit the public recently was a confession from an unnamed source who claims Chrissy was in daily touch with Jim's adversaries, using Jim's name to conduct backdoor deals that eventually injured him. This goes well beyond simply a personal betrayal. It's seeming more and more like a concerted campaign to ruin Jim Jones once and for all now. As the legal pressure rises on Jim, the public is waiting for the repercussions. Legal teams on both sides are preparing for an eventual court fight, and this appears to be the struggle of Jim's life. The evidence is terrible, and the allegations are only rising. If Chrissy is found guilty of financial manipulation, Jim could face large penalties, probably even criminal charges. That's not just a career, it's the sort of controversy that may ruin lives, and let's not forget about the media frenzy. The headlines are all over the place, and the world is tuned in for every twist and turn. Jim Jones, Sir Chrissy Lampkin, and Cameron exposes Chrissy are trending. Globally, fans and critics alike are taking sides, with some showing support for Jim demanding justice while others are slamming into him, asking how someone as powerful and prominent as Jim could have been so easily fooled. But the issues aren't just about Jim. The key to understanding Chrissy's conduct is in the details, and it's becoming clearer than ever that her intentions were considerably more complex than anybody thought. Several sources have emerged out stating that Chrissy was not just involved in financial scams, but was also related to various nefarious characters from the underground. And here's the kicker: Jim had no idea who he was genuinely allied with. Chrissy was meticulously maintaining his image while covertly making agreements with individuals who were exploiting him as a player in a much wider game. Now Jim's formerly steady business is teetering on the verge of ruin. Industry experts warn that the damage may be permanent from financial. Jim's way forward is loaded with uncertainty, from mismanagement to probable legal implications. But the worst tragedy is that Jim Jones trusted Chrissy with his love, company, and future, and she deceived him at the worst. Jim's mental condition has taken a toll as the strain rises. He's been holed up for days meeting with his legal team and attempting to put together what's left of his career. But no matter how hard he tries to mend it, the cracks are too deep and the damage is too significant. Jim has always been a fighter, but even the strongest fighters have moments when they wonder if they can win the battle. Is this the end of Jim Jones as we know him? As for Chrissy, she's been laying low, according to sources. Distance, when it's only a matter of time until the truth about her conduct comes to light. Her image is in ruins, and no matter how hard she tries to spin the narrative, the public knows what's happened. The walls are closing in on her, and the truth is becoming difficult to hide. But does she care? Is she even concerned about the devastation she has caused? Only time will tell. Cameron's family, who have been important in exposing Chrissy's wrongdoings, are now pushing for a comprehensive inquiry into everything Chrissy has been engaged in. That Jim receives his fair justice, and they won't stop until every detail is brought to light. As the court struggle continues, we can anticipate even more stunning facts to surface. And who knows what the future holds for Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin? The narrative isn't done yet, but one thing is for sure: this drama has been one for the history books. Will Jim rise from the ashes, or will Chrissy's web of lies and manipulations ruin him once and for all? Wow, what a roller coaster this has been. The twists and turns in this narrative are simply ridiculous. But here's the real question: will Jim Jones be able to pick up the pieces of his life and career? Or will Chrissy Lampkin's web of lies and treachery bring him down for good? The truth is out there. But the path ahead is anything but clear, but we want to know your opinions. Do you believe Jim has what it takes to rise above the chaos? Or is this the end of his reign? Is Chrissy actually guilty? Or is she being framed in a greater storyline? Put your thoughts below, and let's start the conversation. Whose side are you on, Jim's or Chrissy's? The more we dig into this story, the more questions we unearth. So don't just sit there, hit that comment box and give us your view on this whole mess. And hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the newest updates. We've got even more explosive disclosures heading your way. And trust me, you'll want to be the first to know. Like this video if you want more behind-the-scenes drama. And share it with your friends so everyone can be part of the debate. We've just touched the surface of this mind-blowing controversy, and you don't want to miss a single second. So what's next for Jim? Chrissy and the entire family will be keeping an eye on every twist and turn. We'll bring you the truth, no matter how disturbing it may be. Stay tuned, subscribe, and make sure you're a part of this explosive adventure. You won't regret it. This is only the beginning. Let us continue. The truth is coming.